right, and we're live.
Live once again.
And what is this? Episode 4?
Something like that.
Yeah. This is episode 4, Read Between the Lines.
Foe.
With your host here, Daniel, accompanied by Q.
That's right.
So, man, what's going on, man? Did you see the eclipse?
No, I did not.
Were you at work?
Yeah, I was at work. So I didn't get to really see it. But it happened once before. I think it was 2014 or
Yeah, something like that. It came through here.
yeah. And I saw that one, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did see the first one.
Okay.
But I didn't get to see this one.
Yeah, where were you on that first one? I was at home.
I was at work.
Yeah,
And they actually stopped production.
Oh, really?
And because it was something we never heard of. Like, we never seen it before. So they made it a big deal. And we ended up going outside and had a couple of drinks, like some vending machines, and sit around with these little glasses on. Look at everybody, look up at the sky, looking all crazy.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at home and, like everything got cooled, like 10, 15 degrees. Animals started making little weird noises, like the birds and stuff. It was a little eerie feeling, but it was definitely cool. This time around, you could see that it was dark a little bit. But, yeah, nowhere near the same though. But
Right.
yeah, man. It was a pretty cool experience. Also this week, I think we talked about this last week, but this week there was a winner on the Powerball,
And it wasn't you.
and it wasn't me. Man, I was so disappointed, man. But
So you went to work Monday morning,
I went to work Monday morning.
feeling blessed that you have a job,
Yep.
and life goes on.
Yeah, life goes on. But I came across this thing that Nerve Wallet released or whatever. And according to them, Americans spent over 113 billion with a B on lottery tickets last year. More than they spent on movies, books, concerts, sports tickets combined. So in other words, you take the Super Bowl and like all the sports out there, all the movies that came out, all the books that came out and people read and stuff like that, all that combined, all that entertainment, and people still spend more money on freaking lottery tickets. To me, that's kind of wild. Like, what does that say about our society? Are we really that desperate to like
Yes.
get rich?
Yes, I think they're that desperate to find a way out. They're trying to get out of their job, their 9 to 5, get out of debt, make their fantasy world come to be reality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. People want to just find a scapegoat and get out and be free and probably be broke again in 10 years from now.
Well, some people say that the lottery is just a tax on the poor and the hopeful, because that's really who ends up buying most of these. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's
But to me, it seemed like everyone who actually won the lottery didn't really need it.
the people that did win.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people were probably doing okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere where like a third of them go back to being broke.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I guess it all goes back to money management.
That's true.
Yeah, I found it fascinating that that much money spent on it, and people just trying to better their situation on pure luck, because I wonder if how much of that, if you saved it or invested in something. Granted, it's not going to happen overnight, but you invest, I don't know, $50, however much you're spending every week on lottery tickets. You might eventually, make a substantial amount over time. But, and then the other thing is like all this money, like I'm assuming that most of the lottery, isn't it like to be for like education? Isn't it where it goes to supposedly?
Supposed to.
Yeah.
Supposed to.
and I still see a bunch of dumb people around, and like, college is still expensive as ever.
Tuition.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. This whole thing might be a scam. And then here's the thing. If you think about this, all the money that we spent on the lottery, right? Because you have to pay cash for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all money that's been taxed already because, you worked your job, you got paid at the end of the week, you got that money.
Yeah.
You took $10, whatever, out of that money that was already taxed by the government to buy that lottery ticket. So now you have all this money that people have put on there. And when you win, you got to pay tax on it again. So really, when we did the math breakdown last week, out of that 1.3 billion, your only take home is like 347 million, which means the rest of it, I mean, that's if you take the lump sum, which means the rest of it, the government keeps.
Yeah.
So, that's why I said, some people think is like the tax of the poor and the hopeful, because they keep most of it anyway.
And I mean, that goes to, not to cut you off, but not just the lottery. Think about your paycheck. Like,
oh my God.
Let's be real. Like, if we're gonna be real, let's be real. Like, we're not gonna talk about the lottery, but let's talk about a paycheck we get, a salary. Look at what we spend, what comes out of your paycheck before you get to your hands.
Oh yeah.
And it increases, like insurance and healthcare and all this stuff like that. But
even if you just look at the federal,
yes,
and
FICA.
Yeah.
I never met FICA, but FICA is living good.
I think it's like somewhere like 37% when you look at federal and state tax together. So you end up, when you really break it down, you're working like 4 or 5 months for free when you think about it.
Yeah.
The amount of taxes you get taken out. And so if someone told you, hey, I'm going to give you this job, but every year from January to May, you ain't getting paid, but after that, you'll get paid, we'd be like, man, bump that. I ain't working for you. But that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. And then you got some people think they being smart by, or trying to get ahead and doing overtime and not realizing after 10 hours, I think it's 10, 12 hours, and the
taxes go higher.
The taxes go higher.
So it's almost not even worth it.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
And then you get a raise on your job, thinking, okay, I'm gonna get ahead now. There's Uncle Sam. Looking at you, like, put you in the higher tax bracket.
Exactly. Because I remember when I used to work overtime a lot, like it got to the point that after so many hours, for every $100 I made, they were taking 50. So it's almost like, why am I killing myself just for an extra $50?
Yeah.
Or whatever, Yeah. Yeah, man. It's insane. And we definitely need to have way less taxes, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
But with the little bit of money that we have left over from these paychecks that we get, after it's being ransacked by the government, we might be able to go to the movies. And I don't know if you saw, but Regal Cinema announced that they are re-releasing Christopher Nolan's movies, at least some of them anyway, back into the theaters. and you can rewatch them again, but it's only $5. So I mean, there's that. I guess you can rewatch it for $5. And if I've got this right, they released The Dark Knight from April 1st through the 11th, which I think we've already missed that. Interstellar is going to be released on April 17th and the 18th. I got tickets to go see that, by the way. Inception is coming out April 24th and 25th. Insomnia is coming out May 1st and 2nd. And Dunkirk is coming out May 8th and May 9th. Well, first of all, I want to ask you, have you seen any of these or all of these?
Yeah. Inception, is that the one with the movie upside down or something like that?
Where the buildings kind of go upside down, they go inside people's dreams.
Right.
That
was good. Interstellar was good.
Yeah.
What was the other one you say?
Well, he's got other ones, but the ones they're releasing right now: The Dark Knight, Interstellar, Inception, Insomnia, and Dunkirk.
I don't think I've never seen Dunkirk.
Dunkirk was the World War II movie. Yeah, it was like a World War II movie.
Okay, no, I never.
I don't remember all the plot behind it.
Inception was great.
Oh yeah,
and that was probably my favorite one off that list you just named. But yeah,
Inception, it was definitely probably top 3.
Yeah,
I would say just because of how complex, intricate. I had to watch twice to figure it out.
And with all the technology has advanced today, so I know it's going to be even better. But it was good when it first came out. Mm-hmm. So just imagine.
You mean on the screen,
on the screen? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it'll the HD or whatever.
Yeah,
it'll probably look.
That'd be dope.
But here in town, Regal is replaying though, man.
Wow.
Me and Frank got tickets to go next Wednesday, I think, or Thursday. I think it's Thursday.
Nice.
It's only certain times, but I really like Interstellar, so we're gonna go see that one. But out of all of them, if I had to say, I don't know, man. I think probably The Dark Knight was probably my favorite. Just because I always grew up being a big Batman fan.
Yeah.
And I've watched all the Batmans, and the Christopher Nolan Batman with what's his name? Christian Bale.
Mm-hmm.
That was by far my favorite. Although I will say, this last Batman with the vampire guy, the guy from Twilight, I forget his name.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good too, I have to say. That one was pretty good.
I don't even think I've even seen it.
Dude, you need to see that, man. It's definitely worth it, I think.
Yeah, I might check that out.
But did you see the one with it was also directed by Christopher Nolan, Tenet?
Mm-hmm. Tenet was interesting.
Yeah.
That was a dope movie too as well.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was good.
Yeah, that took me a bit to understand too. People going backwards and stuff.
Yeah, can't rewind and fast forward.
Yeah.
You're you go to the restroom, you come back, you're gonna be lost. You gonna know what's going on.
Yeah, that's probably one that I'll have to revisit because I don't remember all the details of it. But yeah, man. Well, I'm sure you saw in the news. I mean, it was all over the the internet and everything. O.J. Simpson dying, and just when I was looking at the headlines, he was 76. Apparently, he was battling prostate cancer, and apparently he, just died from complications from it. But yeah, as as a lot of people already know, obviously he was a decorated football player back in the 70s. He was MVP of the NFL. He broke some records in the NFL, and afterwards he even had a bit of a acting career He was like in The Naked Gun and a couple other movies. And he was like the face of like the uh, uh, Hertz commercials of the rental cars.
Mm-hmm. Hertz rental car. Yeah, I do remember that.
But I think most of us remember him from the whole, spectacle from the double murder that he was on trial for and
Yeah.
subsequently acquitted for,
And that Bronco.
yeah, that chase.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where I was. I was pretty young, I think,
Yeah, we
because that
were
was like in the middle
young.
of that was in the mid 90s, and
Yeah,
we were in high school, I
we
think.
didn't we saw it, but we didn't really pay any attention. I do remember that white Bronco. That's all I can remember. And I knew who he was, but that was it. So, and the OJ with the orange juice.
Yeah. Well, that whole situation, I mean, we were like young, but that was like a cultural phenomenon
Right.
at the time because, it really like intertwined not just what was happening in terms of like his celebrity and and being rich and being on trial, but with the whole racial uh, history here in the
Mm-hmm.
U.S., where that trial really like sort of separated like black and white's perspective
Mm-hmm.
on the justice system and how historically black people have felt that it was had been injustice to them, and now here we have a prominent black man that basically gets away with murder. And I remember at the time watching like the, what do you call it, the news coverage, and they had like one camera like in a white crowd and another camera like in the black crowd, and when they said that he was acquitted, like the black crowd started cheering and then the white crowd was kind of like in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
And that pretty much kind of summed up the I guess the feeling at the time.
Do you think he did it?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I saw an interview of one of the jurors. She's old now, but one of the jurors where she admitted it. She admitted that they kind of felt like, yeah, he was guilty, but it was almost like we're gonna let it slide.
Wow.
Um, sort of as, how do I say, almost like payback in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And but it was interesting because you got the aspect of the racial component. 'Cause obviously, he's a black man on trial, but also the fact that he's a celebrity
Mm-hmm.
and a rich celebrity, and of course, there's that whole component of like if you're rich, you can get away
Get
with
away with
anything,
anything, right?
and so and then of course you got the legal battle in terms of the legal system, in terms of is it being fair or not. So there was a lot going on in that moment, and I think most people know that he did it, but at the same time, a lot of people were like, well, we're okay that he got away with it
Mm.
because it's almost like a payback to all these years that the judicial system hasn't been fair
All right.
to black people as a whole. But I don't know, how did you see that whole moment in time?
Um. Honestly, I'm not even sure if he did it, but if he did it, then he deserved justice. I mean, he deserved to be punished. But honestly, I really don't know. Like Because I remember the story. I really don't remember all of it as
And
far as details.
yeah, I don't remember all the details, but I mean,
But I do remember seeing a couple of documentaries on TV.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing was like the glove. If it don't fit, you must quit.
Yeah.
And so I mean, he had a good legal system, but a legal team. Including Rob Kardashian, I think was his name. He later died. I think he had cancer or something.
Right.
But
who was his lawyer? Was it Johnny Cochran?
Johnny Cochran was the other one, and yeah, he had a bunch of them.
So that's probably why he got off, because he had Johnny Cochran was good.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good team, but but at the same time, when and I'm not saying that he was at the time. I felt like, well, if he got acquitted, then he didn't do it. But when you hear years later, somebody, at least one juror in particular, if you can believe her, saying what she said, it's kind of like, whoa, it kind of makes you think. And of course, you got to think like all this was in the aftermath of the LA riots, because of the whole Rodney King beating, and those 4 officers, they were all acquitted. And because they were found not guilty, then, Los Angeles pretty much went in flames. Everybody started rioting. And then now you got this situation. So I feel like a lot of people at that time, especially minorities or black people in particular, felt like almost like vindicated in the sense that, well, at least we got some kind of justice, even if he was maybe guilty.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
But yeah, man, that was wild. And I don't know if you saw, like, a bunch of people were sending like condolences to Chloe, because people think Chloe is the actual daughter of O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, they've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
I
mean, because she's tall.
She's tall,
way more than the other ones.
Yeah, and her features are very dominant. So you look at her face and look at him, I can see the resemblance a little bit.
I mean,
never know.
Never know, and
that's a story we'll never know, right?
Yeah, might never know. And what's the mom? What's the mom's name?
Kim, not Kim.
Oh, I forget the mom name. But I mean, she might have been out there. I mean, after her husband died.
Look at her daughter. That explains where the daughters get it from.
Hey,
Yeah.
But Caitlyn Jenner, aka Bruce, and I think she was also saying like good riddance or something. Yeah. Like okay, I mean, I don't know. Like obviously, he thinks he did it, but I don't know.
But what's funny to me is that they used to double date.
So what? Who used to double date?
OJ and his wife, and Bruce and his wife at the time used to double date.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I was doing some research. I saw that picture of them out on a double date together. Wow.
Well, I mean,
I think that's funny.
Yeah, and maybe maybe OJ got too close to what's her name, and it was Chloe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's something hid and keeping quiet that we would never know, but something went on there.
But you know what, though? Can you imagine, though? Because I heard people talking about this, too. But, I mean, you also got to think of it from the other side, though. Like, if you're OJ's kids, can you imagine living with that? Like, every day people reminding you of, like, who your dad is. You probably don't even want to carry the name because, like, people just keep, like, like, are you related to OJ? Like, I don't know. That's got to be a...
Yeah. It'll haunt you for a while, like calling you OJJ.
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 What that mean?
OJ Simpson Jr.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine, like, growing up in that household. And because I think he had 2 kids with the first wife, and I think he had other kids afterwards. So, Yeah, man, that's gotta be rough.
But he actually looked pretty good for his age, though, for 76 years age and battling cancer. You know, and
Well,
he was in hospice. And I think TMZ caught up with him and asked him, was he in hospital? He said no, he denied it.
yeah, he denied it, and
And
he sounded in good
yeah,
spirits. You
but
know, like he was like, just kind of living life normal at
yeah,
least. Honestly, I didn't even know he had prostate
I
cancer.
didn't either.
Like,
But I tell you this: if Wendy Williams was still in her purple chair, we would know. But since Wendy Williams going through what she's going through, we don't really know anything was going on. But a lot of news, she had connections to find out anything like OJ because she liked OJ,
oh, she did.
and she wanted him to come to her couch, and she wanted to interview him. I think he was scheduled to come, and as soon as he got out of jail, matter of fact, he did come. And I don't know what happened with the situation, but she was really close to him. Like she really, really knew him. So, like I said, if she was still in her good spirits, and I wish her well. But if she was right where she's supposed to be, we would know everything about OJ.
Well, yeah, she used to like definitely get the tea on everybody.
Oh man, tea be piping hot.
I remember. Well, I mean, I wasn't there, but like listening to it live. But I remember listening to it years later, like this interview she did with Whitney Houston. Did you ever listen to that? Oh
yeah,
my
and Whitney
God.
cussed her out, blessed her out.
I was like,
But Whitney was a diva. Whitney didn't play.
I didn't realize Whitney was like that though. I always
can
picture
see it. I can see it in her. Yeah,
I always picture Whitney like a
sweet,
nice,
delicate,
sweet, yeah,
like the preacher's wife,
like the preacher's
movie.
wife, or like the bodyguard,
Yeah.
like
But even in Bodyguard, she was snappy.
Oh, wow.
She gave Kevin Costner a run for his money. Like, if you're gonna be my bodyguard, you're gonna earn the right to be my bodyguard. I'm gonna put you to the test.
Yeah.
And she did. But not to get out subject, but
No, yeah, but I mean,
I'm not gonna lie, I miss Whitney. And I find myself at least once a week on social media, and I find a post on a Whitney Houston fan page, and I listen to one of her songs and something, Yeah, God bless her soul.
yeah, I mean that's been a very tortured family because obviously Bobby was going in and out of like dealing with drugs himself.
Yeah.
And then didn't their daughter like commit suicide or something?
She died the same way.
Overdose?
Yeah, overdose. Yeah.
Did they have a son? Just one kid?
Just one kid, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that was wild. But yeah, I mean, I remember watching that and I was like, man, I didn't realize Whitney was out here like that, like just like dang.
And they say in actuality that she was the one that got Bobby Brown onto drugs.
Oh, really?
Yes.
If anything, I would have thought it was maybe the other way around.
I would think that too, but she was the one that got him out there because she had higher connections in places where he couldn't go.
Do you remember how old she was when she died?
Maybe 56.
Oh, she was up there already?
Yeah, I think she was like 55, 56, maybe.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
Because I know like there's that famous, 27, the number 27, where a lot of celebrities die at the age of 27. Ever heard about that?
No.
Yeah, like I want to say it's like Amy Winehouse. She died when she was 27. Kurt Cobain, I think he was 27. Who was Jimi Hendrix? Like a bunch of celebrities died at that age or around that age, which is kind of weird, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. But anyways, speaking of celebrities, I wanted to play you a clip from Will.I.Am, which I thought was an interesting clip, and just to kind of get your reaction on it. Let me see if I got this here. Let me see if this will work.
Concern investments on AI to make machines smarter. there's no limit to the amount of money that's been pumped into it. The investment in HI to make humans smarter, human intelligence, that's just sad. It's sad that we're going to live in a world right around the corner where machines will be more articulate, analytical, critical thinking, banter ability, contextual, deep understanding, while we have resorted to short tweets, emojis, memes, and stickers to communicate.
So, so when you hear that take on when it comes to technology from Will.I.Am, what you think?
Man, I agree with him 100%. And it's funny that he say that because my job deals with a lot of robots.
Okay.
A lot of like machinery, a lot of like AI, basically. So to see that how they're investing so much in the AI and these machines being very articulate, and then you got the humans, like you said, we care about emojis. We barely can say a complete sentence. We don't open up, they feed us garbage, but they invest in the robot.
Yeah.
So that's when he said that at the end, that's deep. Like if that don't make you think, I don't know what will.
Yeah, that was kind of deep because, literally millions upon millions of dollars are being invested in AI technology as a whole. But like you said, human intelligence is like going by the wayside. You got kids that don't even know how to read, graduating high school. And the thing about it is, even like now when you text people, they don't even have good grammar when it comes to texting. It's like you're trying to decipher what some people say, in their texting. And like, everything is, growing up, I remember a time when if you wanted to communicate with someone that didn't live near you, or maybe in a different country or a different,
write a letter.
You had to write them a letter. And so obviously you have to know how to create a sentence, a paragraph, punctuate correctly, and do all that and ship it out or whatever. And all that is pretty much lost. Like, people don't really communicate at all. In fact, some people literally just communicate through memes.
Yeah.
Like that's the only interaction that some people have with other people is just like memes.
It's sad.
And so
like the average person, you think probably don't even know how to do a resume.
No.
Don't even know how to start a resume. Don't even know how to put one together for a job. That's the sad thing about it. You know?
And and of course, not trying to put the blame on anybody per se, but it's just it's an interesting thing to see where sometimes our priorities are, because, and I think maybe that's just the greed of people, where we're gonna put money into things that can make us money, but at the same time, the human aspect of things kind of gets put by the wayside, because let's be real, when in the future there's going to be a lot of jobs that are going to be lost to AI. And even Will.I.Am was talking about how AI is kind of taking over music, and a lot of like AI generated music, like, you don't know if it's really the artist or if it's something that AI came up with.
Right.
And I've seen some AI songs that, man, they sound like bangers, but it's not the actual artist that was singing it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised in the future, like, AI coming up with quote unquote artists that are just AI generated. They're not even real.
That's scary.
And but they got songs that
Got hits.
You know.
That's gonna be wild.
So as an artist, what do? You know, like so I think I heard him speak about some of that stuff, but he's trying to I don't know, I guess trying to get people to be more mindful of how AI is affecting the music industry.
Just imagine watching the VMAs and the award goes to an AI.
You know what? It might be.
I believe it. I believe because somebody had to be the person to push the button or establish something for the AI. So they probably get the award, but that is crazy that the AI is like taking it. It's that much influence in the world today.
Well, you've got like AI models,
right?
You know, there's what do you call it? I was reading about this. There's virtual girlfriends that people can have. Have you heard about that?
Yes, and there's virtual characters on Snapchat.
What do you mean?
Like you have a virtual friend. Like if you go on your Snapchat, it's this virtual AI sends you a friend request, and she says or he says, "I'm here if you need anything. Like if you want to know about the weather." Basically, like you saying, "Hey Siri."
Oh,
but you say is in your Snapchat, so you can take you can ask her anything of like, what do you doing this weekend, and she will respond back.
Oh yeah, you've talked to her?
I have. Yeah.
What'd she say to you?
And she said, "I'm just going to hang around the house, do some chores, get caught up on the week, and meal prep." It'd be something like that, you know. And you can actually respond back, and it's so funky because you can sit here and have a whole conversation with an AI, and you thinking that, okay, this is interesting. And I guess to me, it's to a point where it helps people to open up, because if people going through trials or going through certain things in their life and they can't talk to a human, well, what better way to talk to somebody on social media
But why wouldn't you be able to talk to a human? That's the thing.
Well, I think a lot of times with people walk around with guilt, embarrassment, whatever the situation could be or may be, and they feel like that they'd be judged because of the decision or because of what they went through. And so sometimes they don't realize that maybe it's best to open up. But I think sometimes it's even easier to me to talk to somebody you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's why, that's why they have like therapists and stuff.
Yeah. But therapists cost money. So I can actually like talk to it. That's why most people at work, they talk to each other at work about their problems, because they know people at work don't really know them. So it's like, I'm going to tell you only what I want you to know. And based on the information that I give you, you can form your own opinion based on what you know.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something that I want to hear. So you're really not getting the help.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I think there's like two aspects of this.
Right.
One, like the companionship aspect of it. Like if you ain't got nobody to talk to and you're talking to AI, whether it's, this AI on Snapchat, or if it's like a virtual girlfriend or friend, whatever. And because you want that companionship, that being able to talk back and forth with that person.
Yeah.
Or this robot.
Yeah.
But then there's the other aspect of it. Like if you're someone that's struggling with like anxiety, depression, or some issues that you need to talk to you need like professional help.
Right.
They may be venting to some of these AIs. And actually, now that I think about it, you just kind of gave me an idea. Like, like a business idea. I mean, I guess someone can do this, and I wouldn't be surprised if it already exists. but it's because like right now you can go online and talk to therapists, like do like a virtual visit or like on the phone or even through text. Um, if you don't have a way to see one in person,
Mm-hmm.
I would not be surprised if AI took over that space and set you up with like AI that have like expertise, that have been trained,
Right.
and have the algorithms or whatever to be able to help somebody out that has or at least be someone that they can talk to when it comes to those
Wow.
issues. I would not be surprised if that was the case, because when you think about it, think about this. Now more than ever, we're dealing with the society that's dealing with mental issues, whether it's anxiety, depression being the biggest ones. And what do we have a short amount of? Therapists.
Right.
There's a shortage of doctors and psychiatrists and therapists that are available for people. And even the ones that are available, like you said, a lot of people don't have the money to pay for them,
Right.
or they don't have the time because of their work schedule to see one. So imagine if you could set up a virtual therapist that you can talk to them anytime, maybe for like, pennies on the dollar in comparison to an actual one. Dude, that might be the move. That might be the business move. And again, it kind of goes back to what we're saying, that the human component gets completely out of it. And here you are pouring out all your feelings to a machine.
That's so wow. I'm not gonna say sad, but that's the world we live in now. And it's so funny because if you go on your banking app, and as soon as you get on the app and you going through maybe getting your statements or something, it'll say, "Hi, can I help you?" And you you respond and say, "I'm looking for whatever you're looking for." Okay, great. Then here come that page come up. You think to myself like, whatever happened to the operator? Whatever happened to customer service? When you call in like Duke Energy, or if you call in Spectrum, or you want to talk to a human, you don't get a human. You get press 1 for this, press 2 for that. And then you look at, okay, that's not what I need. That's not what I need. You go to 3. You hit 3. They say, well, thank you. You want a customer service. They won't even give you customer service.
Or if you do end up getting one, it's like somewhere in India or Pakistan.
Yeah, and you better understand their English. And you got to keep asking, like, what'd you say? Like, repeat, excuse me? And they think you're trying to make fun of it. Just I have a hard time. You talking about my coins. I want to make sure what I hear is correct before I give you this transaction.
Yeah, well, all I know is that AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
Will.I.Am definitely makes some valid points. I feel like
God, he dropped bombs. I like that.
Yeah, we're definitely not putting the amount of resources into humans. It is what it is, but definitely something to think about. Right. But I don't know if you saw this in the news, but I kind of wanted to kind of get your take on it. I don't know if you heard about Aoki Simmons, the daughter of Russell Simmons.
Yes.
And what's been going on with her? Well, apparently, she's 21.
Right.
But apparently she's been dating this guy. He's like he owns restaurants and stuff like that. But he's 65, so there's like a 40-year difference. And, people have been talking about, the big age gap and whether it matters or not. But Russell Simmons doesn't seem to care. He's like, whatever, like, But anyway, what's your thoughts?
Of course he wouldn't care, because he started dating Kim at an early age.
There was a big gap with them too.
Yeah, matter of fact, when he was dating her, she was still in high school.
Really?
Either first year in college or something like that. She was early young, because she was a model.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
And she was a model, and she might have been maybe 20. I think.
Wow.
She was young, and he was young too, but
Nah, he wasn't that young.
He was he was at that point at that time he was young, but he was much older than what she was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But as far as 40-year gap.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. I'll put it to you in a couple of ways. You know, because you're what, 40? You're 40 what, 43 right now? All right. Well, let me ask you this. What's the youngest you would go?
The youngest I would go would probably be 30.
30? Okay. All right.
30 or maybe a hard 28.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Yeah. That's I'm gonna need her to be hard 28, pushing 29, but think like she's about 35.
Okay. So all right. And what's the oldest you'll go?
Depend on how financial stable she is, what kind of like life policy she had. I'm just joking.
Okay.
But no, I mean, honestly, she could be late 40s.
Really?
Early, maybe, you know.
Oh, so you don't really care about having kids then?
I mean, I do, but I'm just saying.
If you do,
you didn't say anything about the kids. You just saying as far as dating.
No, well, I'm saying like if you want to like a lifelong partner,
right?
Obviously, you got to meet her at some point. So, what would be the ideal age, provided you want to get married and have kids?
Well, make it make sense. Well, she's gonna have to be at least 30, and if
at least 30, okay.
At least I would say at least 30.
Okay.
And if we wanted to have children, and if we had a plan, and money wasn't an option, and she was somebody who was like 52 years of age, I'm just follow me, sir.
Okay.
Don't look at me like that. If she's 52 and we want to have children, and we was very serious, and we felt like this is something that's going to be a lifelong relationship.
Okay.
And we wanted children, then we will hope and pray that we'll be able to adopt.
Okay.
I would think we'd probably be able to adopt, because if somebody that age and I'm my age.
Wait, so you're saying that you're right now you're 43, but you're talking about maybe dating someone that's 52.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it was serious, now if it was like 100% serious and we was actually growing together and we both wanted children.
But okay. Well, I guess you got to think about this. Like if she's 50 something, in all likelihood, she's got grown children. Right. Probably.
Yeah. Well,
unless she went her whole life without them.
I've seen both. I've seen some women up there and doesn't have no children at all. And I've seen some. And I also seen women who got pregnant. Like Demi Moore.
What do you mean? Like
Demi Moore, she had a baby at 51.
At 51?
Yes. Halle Berry. She had a baby at 50-something.
Nah.
Yes. Look it up, son.
Really?
Yes. And not only Demi Moore, not only Halle Berry, Naomi Campbell, the model.
Yeah.
She had a baby, but what just 3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Okay.
So it can happen. I just feel like if it's in God's timing, if it's in God's will, it's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
But just to be real and be realistic, like I said earlier, if she was in her mid-50s, then we both wanted children. She didn't have any kids, and we both financially able, and we stable, and we strong.
Damn, so you like them old like that?
I do not like them old like that. I'm just saying, because you asked a question, and I'm answering the question. But to be honest, in this day and age, I do feel like age is nothing but a number. And I think it's based on how you feel, how you take care of yourself. Because I've seen people who's in their early 30s, but they act like they about 60. And not saying 60 is old, but they act older. And I've seen people who's older that they have a young mindset and they have fun. They live in life to the fullest. Like they're not just living, they're not just existing, they're living their life. Like they're actually having a good time. You know, and I see it all the time on my job. Like there are some people on my job it's like 24, 27, and they so caught up in this world of fantasy world because of social media or because they feel like life is over. They just act so old, and what they eat, they shrivel it away. But then again, you get this young lady. She's been working here for I don't know how many years, but she's like 54. She's living life. She's working out. She's eating right. You know, she comes to work, got a great attitude, great spirit. She take care of herself. She pamper herself, and she feels like she's 30.
Yeah,
But she's every bit of 54.
no, I mean, there's definitely people, you know, that take care of themselves, you know, 40s, 50s, and beyond. But obviously, you know, I'm married, so I'm not out here in these streets. But if I was out here in these streets still, mine would be like 25 to 32. That would be my range. You know, because I'm thinking like I want to have children. I want to have my own children.
Right.
You know, nothing against adoption, but I'd rather have my own. And if I want to have more than one, then, you know, the younger they are, the easier it is, without complications.
Right.
You know, as they get older, because that's something you have to take into account. Because when women after the age of 35, their pregnancies are considered high risk, and it becomes more difficult for them to get pregnant. And not just that, but also they may not produce the same amount of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them have to like freeze them if they want to have them themselves. And that's a whole different, ball game, because you got to have money for that too.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive. So
that's why I tell you, but that you got to be financially able.
Well, you know, to me, I guess it's different. Like for me, the girl wouldn't have to be necessarily like, be like Miss Independent and all this and that. I mean, as long as, you know, she has a good personality, comes from a good family, you know, has strong values, believes in God, and, you know, she's trying to do something with her life, and that's good with me. As a man, I'm okay being the provider. I'm okay being the one that takes care of the house or whatever. Right. So, but at the same time, let me flip it around. What about if you had a daughter that was 21? How would you feel if she was dating someone that was 65?
I would want the discounts.
You
because I know he gets some. Nah, I'm just joking. But
if he's rich like that, though, I'd be like girl, like, do what you gotta do. Just invite us to the yacht.
Well, yeah, and I honestly, to be 100 with you, if I had a daughter and she was 21, and her baller boyfriend at the time is like 60, and he got multiples, like he's like Wall Street.
Yeah.
I would want her to follow her heart. If she's happy and he's treating her like, treating her right and taking care of her, ain't nothing I can do, because she's 21, she's adult.
Yeah.
She's grown.
You're right. I mean, she is
grown.
grown.
Now, if she was younger, like if she was like 17 and she is attracted to this guy who was like, I'm going to be more realistic. Let's say she was 17 and the guy she was attracted to was like 38. And then that will be a problem. I think that's going to be an issue. I don't care if he does have money. I don't care if he's a lawyer, whatever the case may be, but that's just not right. Because any man want a woman that is 17, he has a problem himself.
Okay.
I feel like there are some issues going on with him for you to feel like you need to be in this young adult's life. on that level, you know.
So you're saying if a man is 38 going after a 17-year-old, that's weird. But if he's 65 going after 21, that's not weird.
No.
Okay.
Because while I would say that, because the 17-year-old is still under, she's not even legal.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, there's
21,
yeah.
she's an adult. She can make her own decisions. And like
Yeah.
I said, if she makes the decision and she's happy and he's happy, and why not? I don't want to come between that and cause problems, because not only I'm gonna lose my daughter because of the situation, but she would never trust me again.
Well, it's a very tricky situation. It's very complex because on one end, there's some people that would say, well, when you have such an age gap like that, it's really more of like a power dynamic.
Right.
He's like, trying to like, mold her and try to like, do all these things because he's got, the power, money, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, well, she's 21. She can do whatever she wants. She's a full thinking adult, and that can, figure things out one way or the other.
Right.
So there's that. But at the same time, when there's such a big gap like that, as a man, I can see someone being in their 40s, 50s, 60s attracted to somebody in their early 20s or whatever, because men are going to be men. Men are visual creatures, and if they see someone attractive, and granted they're in their early 20s, like, and they have the ability to go after them, they will, because that's how men are. But on the flip side, women for the most part, they do tend to, date and marry a little bit older, and women for the most part want a man that can provide for them security,
right,
and resources, so. But when you see that kind of, that gap is like, whoa, like if I had a daughter that was 21 going after a dude that was like 65, I would be asking myself questions like Daniel, where did you fail?
Yeah.
Because
but today's world, of 60 some years old, he probably gonna look like he probably 45.
Have you seen dude? He looks like he's up there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, nowadays you can't tell people's age. Like, you just don't know. Like, you can't even guess no more, because some people just actually take care of this. So they got good genes.
Yeah,
and they just look good.
Well, I know. I would hope that if I had a daughter and she was 21, I mean, she would go. Even if it was like 10 years, I can understand. You're 25, he's 35. Okay, that's cool. But obviously, it's it gets trickier the bigger the gaps you see. Yeah. But I don't know if you've heard Leonardo DiCaprio, like how he likes them young.
Yeah,
and like every single model or whatever that he's dated, they always seem to break up before they turn or when they turn 25.
Yeah.
I guess he's got a thing between 19 and 22. That's like his range. He'll date them, and once you turn 25, time to upgrade. Time to get that new model.
I think that's that's something inside of him.
That's something inside of him.
Yeah, something inside him. He got some problems. He needs to talk to AI therapists and figure out what's going on inside his head.
Well, what do you think is going on inside his head? I mean,
I think he feels like I think he's trying to stay relevant and stay young. Like maybe with guys like that, they got money, got power. They feel like they have to have somebody to worship them.
Well, I mean, you look at his you know his contemporaries, like the people he hangs out with, like George Clooney. He finally got married. Brad Pitt, he's been married, he's got kids, and
Yeah.
there's something, I don't know what it is with him, and but I think maybe he just enjoys the being a bachelor, the single life. And when you got that kind of money, I mean, it's like, I guess for him, it's like, why settle? Like, I can just,
Yeah. That's
but
true.
I mean, at some point you would think that would get old, and you want to build something with someone, long term. But I don't know. Maybe it's just, people are wired different.
Yeah.
He's
He's probably married to his money in his career.
Well, some people are.
Yeah. He's probably one of those guys, some people say money can't buy happiness. He probably thinking that he's happy. And he just finds some 21-year-old, have fun with her a couple of years, and update the new iPhone and get another one.
Yeah.
And she wins. To be honest, both of them win, because now she could put in her resume that she dated, who she dated, and he wins, find somebody else.
Yeah, and I mean, she could put that on her resume.
Yeah. And again, who's going to turn him down? So he could probably go any girl he want, whether she's 21, 23, 24, 25. And even though they know he has a track record, they still going to date him anyway. Because of who he is.
Yeah, even if his even if it's just for a year, even if it's just for a month,
a week.
Yeah,
it could be just a weekend in Dubai, or
exactly,
any place exotic. They will go for it. They will sell everything. They will risk it all, let it all go, and go with this one man for 2 weekends in a row.
Oh man!
And come back, and he gonna wine and dine her. He gonna give her all kind of lavish gifts that she gonna be able to hold on to, and she gonna come back in a dream world for the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen when she comes back? All the regular guys, they're not gonna stand a chance.
Well, see, and that's the problem, because
that is the problem. You're right.
Because like now,
she got her standards are so high.
Well, she thinks they're that high,
right?
Because you landed, Leo for the weekend, but to me, it's like, if you were really on that level, he would have kept you and married you, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the fact that he didn't,
Says a lot about you.
Well, not necessarily just that, but what I would say is that just don't think that because you landed this actor or like this ball player that's all you deserve now, and then like, regular Joe, working at the plant, he don't have a chance. But unfortunately, because with social media and a lot of these girls have access to these type of dudes, they feel like that's the type of dudes they deserve.
Right.
And it creates a situation where all these women are chasing after these dudes that they're not trying to like wife them up. But when they come down from those clouds, they don't want to just settle with anybody.
Right.
And unfortunately, these normal guys are really the ones that are on your level because you're normal just like them.
Mm-hmm. But if she was smart, she would have a plan B. Like, look, get me in a movie, get me an acting gig, get me into some show, TV show, commercial, introduce me to somebody that could be interested in me.
Yeah.
We can it could be arranged dating, and see where it goes,
Yeah, I mean,
at least walk away with something.
Not but a lot of them though, they do stay in the industry.
Right.
Like they'll end up dating other people in the industry. So because I guess once you're in that circle,
You in that circle.
yeah, you kind of in that circle,
Yeah.
and you end up dating different people. So in a lot of ways, that's all they expect to kind of date or marry
Right.
or whatever. So yeah, man. But I don't know if you saw or heard about what's his name, Matt Damon. His wife, like he met her at a bar, like she was a bartender, and he was there. I don't know. He was like after a movie or whatever. He just went to hang out, to have some drinks, and she was working there as a bartender, and I guess they just kind of hit it off, and boom, you know.
That's good.
So
I didn't know that.
yeah, but hopefully, you know, that doesn't, you know, if you're listening to us out there, if you're a regular chick working at a bar, don't think that you're gonna get don't think you're gonna find
It's shiny
Matt
armor.
Damon, you know, just like that, you know. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting story. So anyway, how much we got here? Dude, we're about 1:06.
Okay.
You got anything else for the people?
No, I think we're good.
Man, yeah, I think we're good for today. We'll just wrap up. And don't forget to follow us on all the socials. And we'll see you next week. Peace out.